Hello everyone, my name is Marcus G. Welcome to my channel. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. The most recent departure from the cast of Chicago Fire Season 12 is possibly the worst one yet, despite the fact that Firehouse 51 has already experienced a few of significant departures in recent months. In light of the departures of past characters, the most recent character to leave Chicago Fire Season 12 is disheartening. Although One Chicago is known for its emphasis on drama and personal tales, the show is thrown off when Firehouse 51 experiences significant departures, such as the recent departure of Derek Gibson, a character played by Rome Flynn. Gibson's sudden departure highlights the importance of maintaining consistency in Firehouse 51 and encourages Chicago Fire to be more conscious of the regular cast changes that occur on the show. In the midst of a few of the departures that occurred earlier in the year, the most recent character to leave Chicago Fire Season 12 is extremely disheartening. In the past, Firehouse 51 has experienced the loss of members. In spite of the fact that it has a few long-term employees who have been a member of Chief Bowden's unit ever since the beginning of One Chicago, it has also said goodbye to a large number of players throughout the course of its more than a decade on the screen. It is common practice for procedurals to have rotating ensembles because not all performers are able to devote years of their careers to working on a single production. The introduction of new characters is another way that the writers maintain a sense of novelty and freshness in the story overall. When it comes to its procedural storytelling, One Chicago is more focused on drama than its fellow Wolf Entertainment NBC show, Law and Order. However, the personal tales of the people who work in the Windy City serve as the foundation for the cases, which are noteworthy in and of themselves. With the exception of Hank Voight's intelligence in Chicago Police Department, Chief Bowden's Firehouse 51 of Chicago Fire has what is considered to be one of the most dangerous occupations in the series. The deaths of characters have been exploited as a means of character development, but for the most part, the exits of the show have been less dramatic. Nevertheless, this does not imply that they are not difficult pills to swallow, such as the most recent formulation. Similar to there was a very unexpected cancellation of the Chicago Fire Department, Medical Department, and Police Department 7 years ago. The fact that all of the One Chicago series have been formally renewed to return for the 2024 to 2025 television season makes the cancellation of one of the older shows even more strange. In spite of the fact that One Chicago has repeatedly demonstrated that it is able to endure ensemble changes, as it has done on numerous occasions over the course of its existence, Chief Bowden's team has experienced a number of significant departures in such a short amount of time. It was announced that Alberto Rosend would be quitting his role as Blake Gallo in the very first episode of the year, which was the season 12 premiere of Chicago Fire. This news came before the debut of the season. As a consequence of this, and in accordance with the fact that she had announced her engagement to Matt Casey in the season 11 finale of Chicago Fire, Sylvie Brett, played by Kara Kilmer, relocated to Portland, Oregon, shortly after the couple's emotional wedding. On the very moment that one was beginning to believe that Firehouse 51 might be able to keep its unit together, at least until the end of the year, it suffered the loss of another member. Rome Flynn confirmed the news on his official Instagram account, stating that he will no longer be playing the role of Derek Gibson in the upcoming season of Chicago Fire. Taking into consideration that the character had just recently been on One Chicago for a total of 6 episodes, this came as a considerable surprise. In the past, there was no sign that his engagement in Firehouse 51 would be brief. This was especially true after Gibson and Sam Carver appeared to form a growing bond in the midst of the insanity that was occurring in the firehouse. In Chicago Fire Season 12, Gibson's arrival was inspired by Stella Kidd's attempt to fill a vacant spot that Gallo left in Truck 81. This was the reason for Gibson's arrival. The unexpected contact that he had with Firehouse 51 cleared the path for Kidd to recruit him to Chief Bowden's team. Prior to that, he had been working with Kylie Estevez in another house. Gibson, like many other newbies to the close-knit group, had a difficult time connecting with his peers at Firehouse 51, despite the fact that his abilities were readily apparent. It was especially difficult for him to feel at ease with the dynamic of the team, especially considering how closely knit Chief Bowden's unit is. Because he was familiar with the sensation, Carver decided to take it upon himself to assist. Should Flynn's character, Gibson, have remained on the show, he would have been the first Black Corps cast member to be cast on Chicago Fire since Charlie Barnett's Peter Mills. Gibson was forced to leave Firehouse 51 because he discovered that there were some personal things that he needed to work out first. This realization came just as Gibson appeared to be fitting into his new environment. It would appear that Kidd and Carver are still holding out hope that he would return in time to take his spot in Truck 81. However, there are currently no plans in place for his return in the near future. Given the character's potential, this is especially disheartening because there is so much potential in the character. If Flynn's character, Gibson, had remained on the show, he would have been the first Black Corps cast member to be cast on Chicago Fire since Peter Mills, played by Charlie Barnett. Beyond that, the chemistry that he shared with Kinney was one of a kind and really adorable. The relationship between them is similar to that of a brother and sister, which is something that Chicago Fire hasn't really experienced in recent seasons. It would have been wonderful to witness more of that if Kinney had moved to Firehouse 51 during that time. Finally, Gibson and Carver were on the verge of becoming the new Kelly Severide and Casey, but this departure effectively put an end to that possibility. According to Flynn, his unexpected departure from Chicago Fire Season 12 is even more unusual because he has implied that it was not his decision to leave the show. It is still unknown why he was terminated from his position at One Chicago, particularly at this late stage in the company's abbreviated year. In order to maintain some level of consistency during a season that was already fraught with upheaval, the show could have, at the absolute least, kept him aboard until the conclusion of the season. On the other hand, moving forward, Chicago Fire needs to be more careful about the modifications they make to its cast. In spite of the fact that it has discovered means to move on from departures, it is unable to continue to change players at such a rapid pace. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe my fast gossip to our channel, and stay with us.